still get that juice? I know I did. I always have. Do you still get that juice as a commentator? Is it still worth going on the road and all that stuff? How long do you see yourself doing it, man? A lot of people ask me.
Until I stop getting the juice. I get the juice 100%. It hasn't waned that much. If there's a big fight, it doesn't even have to be a big fight. It could be a semi-big fight. I get the juice, man. I'm never going to not get the juice. I mean, I get it for Junior Dos Santos versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike. I get it for everybody. I get it, man. I get it. I still get it. When I'm there, I get excited. And one of the things about COVID is that I've been calling these fights with no audience. You know, the one we did in Florida and the cards that I've done at the UFC Apex Center. I feel so fortunate because I'm one of very few people that's there live. And when something gets taken away from you, like, you know, with a lot of us, with COVID, you know, I mean, the big takeaway, obviously, is people's health and their lives. And many people have lost their jobs. But a lot of us have lost our ability to see live sports. And there's something really special about live fights. I love watching fights at home. I love it. But there's an extra juice about seeing it live. And when you know you're one of, 20 people or so that's inside the Apex Center, all the officials, the referees, corner people, and the commentators and camera folks, there's a small handful of people. And every time I'm there, I think, man, I am so fortunate. I'm so fortunate. When I saw DC versus Stipe and I'm there live, I'm like, God, I'm so fortunate to be here. Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. I'm like, what a fight. And how fortunate am I to be here and watch this go down live? You know, it's just, it's still, to me, it's still magic. It's still amazing. I love it.
And you mentioned that you want to bring a couple of the guys back in November. We're going on hiatus in a few weeks, is that right?
Yeah, because, more than likely we're going to Fight Island.
Okay. I was sort of where I was going with that.
I figured.
Speaking of news outside the Contender Series, today there's a bunch of headlines coming out. Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns confirmed for December?
Yeah.
Cool. And then following that, potential rematch between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. Is that confirmed, or is that just being...
It's being worked on. That fight was in the works, yeah.
Is the plan to have the BMF belt back another factor again and have it be defended? Or
Well, he wants to defend it against Diaz. They were the first two to fight for it, you know what I mean? They were the guys that fought for it, so he wants to put it up versus Nate again.
So that's the plan, headlining a card with the BMF belt on the side.
Right.
Cool. That's in January. I know we've spoken about this before. Any thought about fans in January, or are you just not even thinking about it yet?
Any sort of what?
Thoughts about fans in January?
I'm not thinking about fans at all. Listen, obviously we're going to have to see. We're going into September here, or it is September. Is it September? I don't even know what. Yeah, all right, it's September now. And we'll see how the next 3-4 months play out. I have this funny feeling things are going to change a lot after November. Yeah.
Surprised me a lot after the fight when you were honest about, you don't know how long you're going to be in the sport. If you're going to step away from it, you want to take some time. You haven't had a losing streak, or B, that bad performance is a guy you should look good against. You haven't had either one of those things. Usually that's when somebody thinks about retirement. What are your thoughts on that, man?
For me, there are a couple things going into the sport that I wanted to do before I left it. I feel like I've accomplished a ton of that. And I'm the type of guy where if I were to leave on a bad note, it would just stick with me for the longest time ever. And it's just something that I couldn't live with. Like, I always told myself that I want to go out on a high note. You always hear about these athletes that don't know when to hang the gloves up. And then, like you said, they experience this downward slide. And it's just like, man, this isn't the same guy he was before. I don't want to leave the sport like that. I don't want to leave with my face in the mud. I want to leave holding my head up high. So the more I think about that last fight and everything that happened, having it be a fight of the night, just showing everybody that I'm still there. I can still hang with these young guys. I leave my heart in the cage. Having my post-fight speech kind of go viral with the Cuban-American community everywhere. Just the influx of messages I've been getting in my Instagram and stuff have been crazy. I was up till like 3 a.m. last night rocking my girl to sleep because she woke up in the middle of the night trying to answer everybody back. the more I think about all those things, the more I couldn't make a more perfect time to leave the sport and kind of leave my legacy where it's at. You know, I was never a world champion or anything like that, but if with my post-fight speech I could be like one tiny spark of a million sparks that helps ignite the fire to bring down the dictatorship in Cuba, to me that's worth more than 10 world championships put together.
What do you want MMA fans to remember about you? When I say the name Ricardo Lamas, what do you want them to think about when they think of you?
You know, maybe that I'm just kind of one of the last of the old school guys that, you know, held the true aspect of martial arts true during my whole career. You know, respect and discipline. I didn't put on an act. I was who I was the entire time. And every time I stepped in that cage, I gave it my all and left my heart and soul in there. So I think if people remember me that way, I'd be pretty happy with my legacy.
I think I speak for everybody when I say, how does your leg feel?
It's not good. It's not good at all.
I mean, because you took some calf kicks that would put me in a wheelchair.
Well, I'm still on crutches, so there's that. If I'm being really honest with you guys, I'm not doing well. I'm super disappointed. I couldn't get out of bed on Sunday. They had to send people from the PI to my hotel room and drug me up and put a bunch of anti-inflammatory creams and big compression ice machine. It was like I had a whole fucking team in my room. It's a little bit better today. There's an occult fracture on my fibula head, so that's cool. Which it's not. It sounds bad, but it's not a huge deal. Actually, it's 4 to 6 weeks will be fine. But yeah, that's how my leg is.
It seemed like those leg kicks kind of changed how you fought mentally.
Had I not had the leg damage, I would have changed my game plan and just said, all right, we're just going to stand in this boxing range and we're going to go to town here. And I'm confident I'd have been fine, but I couldn't take one more leg kick. Like, I didn't have the ability to change the game plan to just strike with him and just box, because the one time he steps back into kicking range and I don't have enough time to close that distance and he kicks me, I'm down. And there's no way I'm going to get back up. And that's the thing, like, he kicked me 3 times. That is nuts. Hector Lombard kicked me 32 times in that fight. No issues. Like, I walked through the airport the next day. 3 kicks from Alexander Rakic and I'm on crutches.
There was some talk of this fight headlining the August 22nd card, and he posted a picture. UFC said they were looking to do it that date. Why didn't it ultimately end up on August 22nd?
Yeah, I mean, that was in the favor of him, and that was in the favor of the UFC needing to fill that card. It wasn't in the favor of me. I wasn't quite healed yet. I wasn't quite ready to get back in camp yet. I didn't have like just a rinky-dink freaking injury. I had like a contusion. My leg was completely exploded. Like freaking, my skin was cracking. It was so tight with so much pressure from the blood. So I had to take some time to get that ready. And this is a fight that I want to win, that I want to do well in. I want the proper time to get ready. So I don't care if he wanted me to fight on August 22nd. He was supposed to fight me in September of 2018. So this is 2 years later. So at the end of the day, he ain't in the driver's seat. He lost just like I lost, and what did he do? Lose better? You lost. So at the end of the day, for me, I wasn't finna do something that benefited him. I was going to do something that put us on even playing field, and that was a later date. It was originally the 26th, and they had to do something with Adesanya fight, so they called me and asked me if I would switch, and I said, okay, if y'all want me to switch, it's done.
Okay. You talked about 2 years. This has been quite the saga. Is there a part of you that feels like I'll only believe that this fight is going to happen the moment we're both in the cage, staring at each other? Do you feel like it's actually real at this point?
Think about it. Looking like it's crew in here. It was one of the last fights to be announced. You see all these other fights that aren't even main events that were announced. There's been really hardly any media behind the fight, any promotion. You got 2 guys that can't stand each other, and we have heard nothing about it. So what I'm doing is, I'm taking it in stride. I'm taking it to focus, to lock in on the fight, locking on the training, and not to have to deal with all the BS. So it's a blessing in disguise for me. but he's very quiet right now. You know, he's not talking as much as he normally is. And if he is, I'm not listening to it. I haven't heard it, but he's focusing, he's training because now he remember what it's like to be in there with me. He remember what it's like to train with me. And you can only fake the media out so much. Now he has to train. He's in a different camp, under different circumstances, and he got to live up to all the stuff he's been talking. So now he's in there training hard, and I like that because I'm in there training hard.